All right, with Euphoria Season 3 on the way, it is time to do a lightning-fast recap of all the glitter, drama, and pure chaos you need to remember. Let's dive in to the whole messy story.
Okay, first things first. Before we even meet a single character, you have to understand the golden rule of Euphoria. Everything we see, every single flashback, every private moment, every bit of drama, it's all being told to us by our narrator, Rue Bennett. And, well, she tells us right up front, she's not a reliable source, so take everything you're about to hear with a giant grain of salt.
So, where does all this chaos go down? Welcome to East Highland, California. On the surface, it looks like any other suburb, but through the eyes of our 17-year-old guide, Rue, it's a whole different world. A landscape of anxiety, heartbreak, and a whole lot of bad decisions. So, why is Rue our narrator? Well, her perspective is a lot. When we meet her, she's just gotten back from rehab because her little sister found her overdosed. On top of that, she's dealing with a laundry list of diagnoses and is still reeling from the death of her dad. That trauma is really the engine for her addiction. And the kicker? She tells us straight up she has zero intention of staying clean. Okay, it's time to meet the rest of the crew. And as we go through them, just remember that golden rule. This is Rue's version of their stories. Her opinions, her judgments, her biases, they're baked into everything we see. Let's start with the guy at the center of so much of the damage, Nate Jacobs. He's your classic star quarterback, right? Well, not so fast. It's all a front. See, he found out his dad, Cal, has this whole secret life hooking up with men and trans women, and that hypocrisy just broke something in Nate. He channels all that rage and confusion into controlling everyone around him with pure, toxic masculinity. And then we have Jules Vaughn. She's the new girl in town, and she completely changes the game, especially for Rue. Her backstory is just heartbreaking. Her own mother had her put in a psych ward before abandoning the family when she started to transition. This left her with this deep need for validation, which she, unfortunately, tries to get by meeting older, anonymous, and often dangerous men online. Next up, Maddy Perez. You really can't talk about Nate without talking about Maddy. She's his on-again, off-again girlfriend, and her entire life philosophy comes from the movie Casino. Seriously. She wants that glamorous, pampered life, and she thinks love is about being taken care of. And that belief, it traps her in this incredibly violent and toxic cycle with Nate. And rounding out our core group, we have Cassie Howard. Her whole story really boils down to one thing: a desperate need to be loved by men, mostly because her own dad, a drug addict, just up and left her family. This one vulnerability is her Achilles heel, and it is a magnet for one bad decision after another. All right, so the players are on the board. Let's light the fuse on Season 1, which is basically a giant tangled knot of love, lies, and yeah, a little bit of blackmail. Season 1 is just this massive domino effect of bad choices. It all kicks off when Rue and Jules meet, and Rue basically makes Jules her new reason to stay sober, which is, a ton of pressure. At the same time, Nate is secretly online catfishing Jules. This all explodes at the carnival, where Nate assaults Maddy and then uses what he knows about Jules to blackmail her into keeping quiet. Well, Rue's dealer and friend, Fez, tries to protect Jules by threatening Nate. Big mistake. Nate just calls the cops on Fez. The pressure cooker finally bursts, Jules skips town, and a devastated Rue immediately relapses. Okay, so if Season 1 planted a bunch of toxic seeds, Season 2 is where they all bloom into a full-on nightmare. All the simmering tension, all the secrets, they're about to boil over. Big time. The absolute centerpiece of Season 2's drama? Oh, it's a doozy. It's the ultimate betrayal. On New Year's Eve, Cassie hooks up with Nate, her best friend Maddy's terrifying, abusive ex. What follows is this horrifying, secret affair where Cassie totally unravels, trying to become the perfect girl for Nate, all while Maddy slowly starts to realize what's happening behind her back. Meanwhile, while all that high school drama is going down, Rue is, she's having a much, much worse time. She hatches this brilliant plan to get a $10,000 suitcase full of drugs from a terrifying supplier named Lorie, all on credit. When it all goes wrong, and I mean spectacularly wrong, her mom flushes the drugs, leading to one of the most intense intervention scenes ever, a citywide police chase, and Rue barely escaping from Lorie's locked apartment. So how does all this drama come to a head? In the most unhinged and brilliant way possible, high school play. Lexi, Cassie's quiet sister who sees everything, decides she's done being a side character in her own life. So she writes and directs this massive, elaborate play that puts everyone's trauma, secrets, and most embarrassing moments on stage for the whole school to see. It is iconic. But as the audience is laughing and cringing at Lexi's play, something way more serious is happening across town at Fez's house. We get this one tiny, cryptic warning from Faye, a friend staying with them. She's desperately trying to signal to Fez that her boyfriend is wearing a wire, working with the cops to pin a murder on Fez and his little brother Ashtray. And it's too late. Ashtray, being Ashtray, reacts first and thinks later. He stabs the informant in the neck, and just like that, all hell breaks loose. A full-on SWAT team raids the house. The shootout is brutal and chaotic. In the end, Fez is shot and arrested, forced to watch as Ashtray is gunned down by police in the bathroom. It is just a gut-wrenching, tragic end to their story. Wow, so after all of that, the play, the raid, the absolute emotional carnage, where are we? The whole chessboard has been flipped over, and all the pieces are scattered. Let's do a quick headcount of who's left standing. Rue, against all odds, actually ends the season sober, choosing to walk away from her intense relationship with Jules. Nate gets his ultimate revenge on his dad by turning him over to the police. Maddy is finally free of Nate, but she lost her best friend in the process. Cassie, she has nobody left. And Fez? Poor Fez is in handcuffs, having just lost the only family he had. So that's the wreckage at the end of season 2. It really leaves you with one massive question hanging in the air. After all of this trauma, with every relationship shattered and every bridge burned, is there any coming back from this? Can any of them find a path to redemption? I guess we'll have to wait for season 3 to find out.